You're listening to the Ask Drone U podcast. You ask, we answer your drone questions. Whether you're here to turn your passion into profit or you simply fly for fun, we're a community of learners and teachers who aspire to achieve greatness. We are
Drone U.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to another friendly episode of Ask Drone U. My name, your lovely co-host and person who's trying to be humble, Paul.
That's a really interesting intro. And my name is Rob, and I'm trying to be humble as well.
Rob, you are humble. You're like the epitome of humble. Are you kidding me?
Oh, I love that. I appreciate the effort. And a lot of growth in all of us, hopefully. Right?
That is true. And today we are going to be talking about law enforcement, local enforcement officers. We've got a lot to chat about. People have some questions about, do law enforcement officers have special privileges to fly drones? Do they have to follow some of the same laws that we do? And we're going to go kind of in detail about that and talk about the different things that are possible. Also, we're going to talk about, if you're a law enforcement officer, what resources do you have to essentially take on a new program? You'd be surprised how much there is out there for free. So that being said, let's go ahead and get right into today's show, which is brought to you by our friends at GoProfessional Cases. If you have a brand new P4 RTK and you need to protect that bird with a hard case, you've got to check out GPC's new RTK case. It's only available through GPC, at least it's one of the few ones that I've actually seen that is even available. So that being said, check it out. Go to GoProfessionalCases.com and use offer code DroneU15. And big special thanks to our friends at GPC, Beth, Rick, and everyone over there. Appreciate you.
Thank you, guys.
How you guys doing? My name is William. I'm noticing a lot of the law enforcement agencies are starting to use drones now. My question is, are the laws the same as far as flying over people and night flights? I'm seeing a lot of law enforcement agencies starting to use drones now, and I'm just wondering, are the laws the same or is it different for law enforcement? Thank you.
Thank you, William. This is a great question. Law enforcement is starting to use it. All first responding units are starting to use it, which is fantastic because it's such a great tool. They just need to use it the right way, right?
I agree that they need to use it the right way. It just needs to be clear that different law enforcement agencies are operating in different ways. They can operate under Part 107 or they can operate under a public COA. But just understand that typically speaking, so talking about night flights, law enforcement officers typically do have to follow the same rules as a Part 107 pilot. Meaning, if I'm flying at civil twilight, yes, I need an anti-collision strobe that can be seen from 3 statute miles away. If I'm flying at night, yes, I need an anti-collision strobe that can be seen from 3 statute miles away. And we even have a video on different lights that you can put on those drones. And with the Mavic 2 Enterprise, DJI makes it extremely easy in order to have that strobe built onto the bird. Now, when will they actually combine a light and a strobe on the Mavic 2 Enterprise? I don't know, but it would be really useful.
Seems pretty easy to do. I would think that's an attachment coming really soon.
Yes, I
would hope.
I will say, though, I have so much fun with that Mavic 2 Enterprise. Like, literally, and Rick, if you're listening to this from GPC, I think you need to make a case for dual Mavics for police officers, one Mavic 2 Enterprise dual and one Mavic Enterprise, because one has zoom, lights, all the accessories. The other one has, thermal. I mean, if you look at my GPC backpack right there, I altered mine so it does exactly that. I've got 2 Mavics in there. I've got the Pro, though. So the Pro and the Mavic 2 Enterprise. But that being said, I think those 2 drones are really powerful for first responders because, you've got a small, easy to deploy thermal camera that can be used. When you're showing up to an accident scene, there may be a body ejected. You may be looking for a suspect. This is going to be the way to inhibit the response time to find those people and really make a difference. In addition, you can communicate through those speakers on the Mavic 2 Enterprise and really save someone's life, and I mean a police officer's life.
Mm-hmm.
So to answer this question, on a general sense, yes, police officers do have to follow pretty much the same rules and regulations when it comes to flying drones, but you also should understand that, public entities, law enforcement, fire departments, Anyone in public safety can also get special government interests or emergency COAs and get many rules waived. But before I get into SGIs and all of that, I think that people should understand, Rob, that there's actually an entire program at the FAA that will help public agencies get the information that they need to start a drone program. They may not be able to provide the workflow, the maintenance logs, all the forms like, calibrating your drones, making sure that the compass is calibrated when you fly, how to inhibit problems, and, like practical training exercises like how to stop a flyaway, how to do an emergency landing, the 3 rules of takeoff and landing. Drone U can help in that practical stuff,
Right.
But I think everyone needs to learn who Steve Pansky is, Pansky. That's I'm sorry, Stephen. I'm sure your email is going to get blown up, but I think that you're one of the biggest resources at the FAA, and everyone should know who you are. So that is steven.ctr.pansky@faa.gov. If you are in a police agency or in law enforcement or search and rescue, this should be your first point of contact because, according to Steve, the first steps of starting your program, and I quote, the first step in getting started is to coordinate with your state attorney general's office. So our friend Doug from Ohio, great job. The first step is getting started is to coordinate with your state attorney general's office, county or city attorney. Please review the attached email with material on public declarations. The need for public declaration letter that should be mailed to the FAA. We also ask that you send a completed CAPS online access form. That's caps.faa.gov to email address. I'll make this available to you guys. Once the public declaration letter has been reviewed by the FAA's legal office and deemed sufficient, your agency's access will be granted to the CAPS program. So he talks also about what COAs are right for your agency. The Unmanned Aircraft Program for Public Safety was designed to give the prominent a more rapid process for approving UAS operations while expanding the access to the National Airspace System. There are currently 3 different types of COAs to address the needs of the proponent. 1, Blanket Area Public Safety COA, or a BAPS COA. The BAPS COA approval will allow small UAS under 55-pound operations during day and night visual meteorological conditions under the following limitations. Let me make sure I read that. Operations during day and night visual meteorological conditions under the following limitations will take place beyond the following distances from an airport reference point of a public use airport, heliport, glider port, water landing port listed on the AFD, Alaska Supplement or Pacific Chart Supplement of the U.S. Government Flight Information Publications. 5 nautical miles from an airport having an operational control tower, 3 nautical miles from an airport having a published instrument flight procedure, 2 nautical miles from an airport not having a published instrument flight procedure, or 2 nautical miles from a heliport. Under this blanket area program, the proponent will be authorized to conduct UAS public safety missions in compliance with Title 49 USC 4125 Bravo at a location within Class Gulf airspace. Within the contiguous United States, under the provisions stated in the COA, the proponent will need to file a notice to airmen prior to flight. Okay, so that's one way to do it. In my opinion, Part 107 would be easier. Also, another reason is that anytime I'm seeing people filing NOTAMs, it causes more attention and potentially more problems, as other helicopter pilots and Cessna pilots and trainers are like, "Ooh, look, there's a drone operation going on. Let's go see what's going on." And you're like, "No, man, leave us the hell alone." Anyway, okay. Option number 2, jurisdictional COA. For those operations that cannot operate within a blanket COA area criteria or wish to expand their access beyond the blanket area COA described as above, an expanded COA application can be applied for, which could include operations in Class Delta, Echo, Charlie, and Bravo airspace, as well as operations conducted during the night. When a jurisdictional COA is issued, the proponent need only file a notice to airmen prior to flight, which identifies a defined operating area within the construct of the jurisdictional COA area and a notification to the airport traffic control facility having jurisdictional responsibility over that airspace if required. If you're listening to this podcast at 1.5 times speed, woo!
That's true. I didn't think about that.
Oh, man. It probably sounds a little
Even
fast today.
1 1/4 speed might be.
Yeah. And then there's option number 3, special government interest COA or emergency COA, which, if I understand correctly, does go ahead and work in conjunction with Part 107. I want to say a big special thanks to Bill for helping out John Nice of the Charleston Sheriff's Department. He actually sent all this info over to John, and I'm just reading it because Bill's like, everyone needs to know that like the FAA literally has a program to help law enforcement officers start up a drone program. Like, you don't need to pay anyone a bunch of money. You don't need to accept a silly grant that's only going to go so far. Like, the information is out there. It's just understanding where to get it. So
Yeah. One thing I did not hear in any of that is flight over people. And so
No.
that's really a special case, probably in that third option of the COA.
I'm sure it is, yeah. But there's a lot of information that goes into this. In fact, I am going to make sure it's okay with Bill, but I think I'm going to post this because this could be really, really powerful for anyone. So even John Nice responded with a big whoop whoop, thank you.
No, that's great information. And I think more and more communities, they're starting to get used to the idea. And so William asking this question, I'm not really sure what's behind the question. He didn't tell us if he's in law enforcement or kind of what drove him to ask the question. But I wonder if it's because he saw something, right, that law enforcement was doing, that he wondered if that was okay, because generally people can't do that even with the 107. But I think maybe one thing to do is tell yourself, if you see law enforcement using this, that you must assume that they have the proper authority to do what they're doing. And I would imagine if you're curious and you just don't trust them, you can ask and they probably would have it available to you.
True.
Right, if you're concerned.
True. But that being said, there are additional rules that police officers do have to follow, like search and seizure laws. So there are some additional search and seizure issues. I know that there was a particular police agency actually here in New Mexico who learned that the hard way. And it, again, just goes to show, like, guys, get training, go through the right processes, go through program leads. Like, I'm so grateful that Bill English is as large of a proponent as he is in sharing this information. I think we need more people like him in government operations. I mean, it's so funny. I heard this podcast on Freakonomics where they were talking about the government mindset, because a lot of people in private entities say, oh, man, those government workers, they just work, and fill the time and blah, blah, blah. But
take their breaks. And
if Bill English is like the example of a government employee, if more people were like him, whoa. Whoa.
It's probably like any industry. There's a group that are fantastic. There's a group sort of in the middle, and then there's a group that's less than fantastic.
Well, like
less
all
than
things, right?
Exactly right. Yeah.
So, but anyway, that being said, I think that police agencies, fire departments, public safety in general, look, you can use these materials. The way you go about it, though, is extremely important. And I think, you need to get this letter of declaration. I'm going to ask Bill if we can post this on the website, because I think this could be a great resource for Drone U members. But I think we're, and put it out in the community as well. So
that'd be great.
Yep.
Fantastic. So I hope that
I'm going
answers.
to text him really quick. So actually, I called him yesterday. He's like, I'm out on my run listening to Drone U. And then you call me. He's like, this is kind of weird.
A little eerie. That's funny.
So anyway, well, we appreciate you, Bill. And if you want to meet Bill English, check him out. Thanks to him, the NTSB is hosting us again to do another accident reconstruction training, May 13th through 17th. It'll be a 4-day-long class. We are upping that from a 3. And we will also have a flight mastery training as well. So if you would like a systematic training, please join us. It is on the website, so check it out. On that bombshell, hope this helps. If you have follow-up questions as local law enforcement officers, don't be afraid to send them in. Just go to AskDroneU.com. We'll be happy to get to them. That's going to do it for us today. My name is Paul.
My name's Rob.
This is Ask Drone U.